At this point, we are ready to hear our keynote remarks from a remarkable person. We will save time for questions from the audience, which will be moderated by our distinguished program committee member, Jack Kraustop, who is from Baruch College School of Public Affairs. But at this time, as we give a moment to our panel, I would like to introduce Patricia Swann. Pat is a senior program officer at New York Community Trust. She's on our program committee, has been every year since I've been with the BBB, which is almost 6 years now, and is also a sponsor for today's program. Pat will introduce our distinguished keynote speaker, who is Sheena Wright from United Way of New York. Pat?
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm going to echo what Ronna Brown said earlier, and that is to say that I'm pleased to be able to be a supporter of the BBB Charity Effectiveness Symposium now for several years, but I'm even more pleased to actually come and listen, because I always learn something. I always get some really valuable takeaways, and the same has been true this morning from the moment we started. So thank you, BBB, thank you, Claire, thank you, Luana, and thank you, the entire staff, for putting together another excellent program. So I have the pleasure of introducing Sheena Wright. I first met Sheena when she had taken on the job of heading up Abyssinian Development Corporation. And she took on this position from a founding executive director, a very high-profile organization in a very high-profile community, at a time when there were many high-profile challenges. I didn't know then, but I know now, that Sheena has a habit of taking on high-profile, challenging positions. I also didn't know then that Sheena came to this world, to the nonprofit world, from the private sector. And so if you're like me, you probably know many people who come from the business community to the nonprofit world with the best of intentions, thinking, I'm going to bring some of that good old-fashioned private sector discipline to these tough social problems and help these nonprofit people, really dig in and solve these problems. And then, time goes on and they realize this is really hard work. It's really difficult. Plus, I'm not getting paid enough to really work this hard. And so some of them sort of fade away, and maybe they'll serve on a board here and there, but a lot of them don't last. Sheena stayed, and Sheena tackled and took on all kinds of problems and issues. She accomplished at ADC a long list of things, which I'm not going to list all of them because it would just take too long. But under her tenure, ADC built 785 housing units. ADC also built almost 500,000 square feet of community and commercial space. Included in that was the first high school to get built in Harlem in 50 years. That high school, Thurgood Marshall Academy, which started under Sheena's predecessor, Karen Phillips, is now the gold standard for what a public school could be and should be, even serving a predominantly poor student body. And so, as I said, I'm not going to go on and list all of the wonderful things that Sheena's been responsible for, but I'll simply say that it's really my pleasure to know her. I know that under her tenure at the United Way, her newest adventure, she will take on and succeed at all of the challenges, many of which we've heard a lot about this morning in terms of the need for resiliency and the tough times that our sector faces right now. And so with With no further ado, I'd like to introduce my friend Sheena Wright.